Okay, friends, so I just got my copy of the Neuroscience, and again, tantalizing headline: Switch off your tiredness. Why you have more energy than you realize and how to tap into it. So, nice illustration, wonderful headline. So, I rushed to read it. And basically, it says that if you sleep well and if you exercise, then you won't feel tired. But then, with a little caveat, if you stress about sleeping well, if you have too many, gadgets and you're always counting the hours in your sleep, then the stress that causes stress about not sleeping causes more stress and interferes with sleep. And then it goes on to talk about the placebo effect. So, yeah, useful, but nothing new. So today I want to talk about something deeper, I hope, beyond this. And that is that, yes, sleep is extremely important in restoring energy or prana from the Ayurvedic point of view. And the best sleep occurs when you have a dynamic day. So dynamic, purposeful, meaningful day leads to restful sleep. But today I want to talk about something else, which modern science is only now beginning to glimpse. And that is sleep can be a portal to reality, to higher consciousness, to fundamental knowing. So, shall we explore this? Well, have you ever woken up from a night of deep sleep and thought, I was gone, and yet somehow I wasn't? From the outside, it looks like nothing special happened. Your eyes were closed, your body lay still, your brain cycled through its usual sleep stages. But from the inside, something much stranger is going on. What I want to share with you right now is a radical idea from Vedic wisdom and also from Ayurveda that modern science is only just beginning to catch up with. That sleep is not just the mind's off switch, as this suggests. The off switch, see, there's a switch, it's going off. So I want to explore the idea that sleep is not the mind's off switch, but a built-in doorway to higher consciousness. In everyday language, we talk about sleep as if consciousness simply disappears. We knock out, we're dead to the world, and then the alarm pulls us back online. From that perspective, sleep is just maintenance. The brain resets, the body repairs, and we wake up with more energy to get through another day of doing, striving. But if you look a little more closely at your own experience of sleep, the picture starts to crack. There are dreams. There are moments of half waking. There are flashes of awareness in the middle of the night. And then there is deep sleep, the mysterious stretch, which we later describe in a very specific way. I slept deeply. I knew nothing, but it was good. That last part, I knew nothing, but it was good, is the thread that Vedanta grabs and pulls. In the Mandukya Upanishad, the experience is mapped into three familiar states: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. And then a fourth state is pointed to, called Turiya, which is not another state, but the ever-present awareness underlying them all. In the waking state, your awareness is turned outward. You experience the world of objects, your body, other people, the entire movie of your day. In the dream state, the theater flips inward. The body on the bed is forgotten. but a whole world of images, emotions, and characters springs up inside. And in deep sleep, both of these drop away. No world, no dream, no inner movie, no outer movie. From the point of view of memory, there is nothing. Zilch. And yet, notice how you talk about deep sleep. You don't say, I was annihilated. You say, I slept well. I knew nothing. Vedantic teachers sit right there and ask, who is it that now knows that nothing was known? And their answer is that consciousness itself never actually goes offline. Never. The objects of consciousness, sensations, thoughts, worlds go offline. The separate I that claims ownership disappears, but the basic light of awareness remains. So from this vantage point, sleep is not an absence of consciousness, but one of the ways consciousness reveals its independence from what appears in it. Yogic traditions didn't stop at describing this. They developed practices to explore it. One of the most direct is Yoga Nidra, often translated as yogic sleep. By the way, on YouTube and on my website and in the community, I've created some meditations on Yoga Nidra, audio meditations for higher consciousness. So you can check them out. So in classic descriptions, Yoga Nidra is a state of conscious deep sleep. You allow the body to fall asleep, yet you let the mind move past dreams, but a thread of clear awareness remains. This is what you learn if you listen to my audio on Yoga Nidra. You're not watching a dream movie, you're aware of a kind of luminous emptiness, free of images and stories. So the Mandukya third state, the M of Om, so the end, M. So traditional traditions explicitly connect Yoga Nidra to this, to prajna, the deep sleep consciousness. The aim is not to produce exotic experiences, but to stabilize recognition of turiya, the background awareness that is there in all states, including sleep. So from a Vedic perspective, sleep is already a daily taste of reality. Practices like Yoga Nidra simply bring a flashlight into that darkness. So for a long time, neuroscience told a much simpler story. Waking consciousness was tied to high-frequency activity across the cortex. Dreaming in REM sleep was interesting because it involved vivid imagery and emotional processing. But deep non-REM, slow-wave sleep was basically labeled unconscious. Low activity, low responsiveness, no experience to speak of. In that framework, saying consciousness continues in deep sleep sounded like metaphysical poetry. However, that view has started to shift. Over the last decade, researchers have begun to document reports that sound uncannily like the Vedantic description of deep sleep. People, especially long-term contemplative practitioners, report what some papers call objectless awareness during sleep. No images, no storyline, no sense of body, but also no sense of having been absent. There was a paper in 2022 titled "Nothingness is All There Is," and it collected different kinds of these experiences and proposed that awareness can, at times, exist without a distinct object, including during sleep, deep sleep. Other work has looked at rare reports of people who say, in effect, I was aware of nothing, and tried to map what their brains are doing. The emerging view is that consciousness is not simply on with lots of content and off with none, as this suggests. Instead, it may have many modes in which content is radically thinned out, while some form of witnessing presence remains. So Yoga Nidra has now entered the lab. Clinical and experimental studies show that guided Yoga Nidra sessions can move the brain into patterns similar to deep sleep, slow theta waves, or even delta activity, while participants maintain awareness and they don't lose the capacity for clear presence. This is almost a one-to-one experimental echo of the classical definition of Yoga Nidra as conscious deep sleep. So if we put all this together, a new story about sleep emerges. From Vedanta, we get the insight that deep sleep is not mere blankness, but a nightly glimpse of consciousness without objects, and that the same awareness is quietly present through waking dreaming and their absence. From neuroscience, we get growing evidence that the brain can support states of minimal content in which some form of awareness remains, and that practices like Yoga Nidra can train us to recognize and stabilize this. By the way, this also happens in near-death and after-death experiences that people are having. So you don't have to choose one side against the other. You can let the Mandukya Upanishad give you a language and a lens for your own experience, and let neuroscience refine your understanding of how this plays out in the brain. So tonight, when you lie down to sleep, you might experiment with a different attitude. Instead of treating sleep as checking out, the off switch, you might see it as a pilgrimage from the noise of waking through the dreamlike play of the mind into the formless depth where the light of awareness shines most freely. And by the way, slowly this removes the fear of death as well. So check out, what I've recorded, and then we'll go from there. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma